It's important to understand the entire Mac user interface and what things are called. The interface is everything you see on your screen and how you interact with it. So here on a typical screen with nothing really going on at all, we see at the top the menu bar. The menu bar is always at the top of the screen on your Mac, and on the left side you'll see menus. On the right side you'll see a selection of icons and other information. So the menus themselves, if you click on one, like I'll click here on File, that opens up the menu. So this is now the File menu. Each of these things in here is called an item or a menu item. Sometimes you've got multiple nested menus. So for instance here in the View menu there's a Sort By menu or submenu as you may call it. And there are more items in here. To select something you would simply move your pointer over it and click. This item you see here that I'm moving around right now, that's called the pointer. And this is what you move with your mouse or trackpad. And this is how you indicate what it is that you want to click or drag. The icons here on the right, they're called menu bar icons or sometimes just menu bar buttons. And they do other things, sometimes opening up menus. Like for instance, this will open up the shortcuts menu. This will open up the menu for Time Machine for backing up, and so on. At the bottom of the screen you're going to see the dock. Depending on your settings you may need to move your pointer all the way to the bottom of the screen for the dock to appear. And there are a selection of icons in here and we'll find out that they all represent apps and you can click on one of those to open up an app, to launch it, or run the app. Behind everything there is a picture. This is called the desktop. The desktop has different elements to it. The desktop background or wallpaper is one. In this case it's the default macOS Ventura wallpaper. Let's open up a window. A window is one of the primary elements that you need to deal with in the user interface. Now we're using an app right now called the Finder. The menu bar reflects this. The second item in the menu bar is the name of the app you're currently using. The Finder is part of the Mac operating system and it's what you use to manage files and folders. And we're going to spend a lot of time in this course in the Finder. I'm going to go to the File menu for the Finder and create a new Finder window like that. This opens up a new window. We're not going to concern ourselves with what the contents of the window are right now, but typically you find the contents in the large area of the window. But there are other parts of the window as well. For instance, this is called a sidebar here. You can have left sidebars, right sidebars on some windows. The top is called the toolbar and you'll find various buttons here as well. Then you'll find other things that have different names. For instance, there could be a status bar or a path bar at the bottom of the window for the Finder. You can click on items in the Finder like this, and when you see something highlighted like that you would say that it's selected. So for instance, if you wanted to select this file here in the Finder you would click on it and see how it's selected. But in addition to a click you can also do a double click. A double click will open up a file in the Finder. So if I double click it's going to launch another app and open that file with that app. We're now using a different app called Preview and you can see that right here because the menu bar is now changed. Not only is the name of the app here but the menus change themselves. Notice if I click on this window I switch back to Finder. I'm now using a Finder window so the app I'm using is Finder and there are different menu items here than if I click on this window to bring that to the front and now I'm using Preview and the menus have changed and the things inside them are different as well. You can close windows using the red button here. So we've learned how to click and double click, but you can also do other things. For instance, you can do something which I'm going to often refer to as control click. That's holding the control key on your keyboard and clicking on something like an item here in the Finder. And this brings up a context menu. Many people call this right clicking, and indeed if you have a mouse then right click is what can be used to bring this up. Also if you have a trackpad you can use two fingers and click to bring this up. Control click does the same thing and it works in all cases. You also can click and hold the trackpad or mouse down and then move, and you can see what happens is that you are dragging items. And dragging is an important action in macOS, as you would want to drag items on top of each other to have the items interact. Like, for instance, drag a file onto an app to open up the file in that app. You also can drag to move things, so to move a file from one location to another. And we'll be looking at how to do all of that.